Thanks for tuning in with Math is for Me with Mrs. B, where we conquer math anxiety. I'm so happy you're here today. We're going to be talking about integer operations and with real-world examples. The learning target for this video is we will be able to use integer rules outside the classroom. And as we're working through these examples, please feel free to pause and solve on your own before I reveal the answer to you. Let's get started. McKendra has $20 in her savings account before she makes a deposit of $160. After 2 weeks, she withdraws $160. How did McKendra's savings account balance change? So currently, she has $20 in her savings account. So that is where we're starting. We are starting right here at $20. She then makes a deposit of $160. And if you don't know what a deposit is putting money in the account. So this is a positive action. So we are going to be adding $160 into her savings account. So great job, McKendra. If we have $20 and we are adding $160, this leads us to having $180. So now we are all the way over here. So now McKendra has $180 in her savings account. But then after 2 weeks, she withdraws $160. Well, withdrawing is a negative action. It's taking money out of the account. So if you had 180 and now you're going to take out 160, that brings us to $20. And we can see that on the number line by starting here, but then going all the way back to where you started. And it do be like that sometimes. You spend the money, you save the money. Life is about balance. It's okay, McKendra. We've all been there. So this is where we're going to end up. The question is, how did McKendra's savings account balance change? Well, the truth of the matter is that the amounts deposited and withdrawn are opposite numbers, and they combined to make 0. 160 minus 160, these are opposite numbers. They combine to be 0. So McKendra's account balance did not change since the amounts deposited and withdrawn combine make 0. Let's do another example, and while we are looking at this, I do want to give credit. So I get some of my amazing slides from slidesmania.com. If you're a student or teacher and need a great presentation, head on over there. So the temperature was 85 degrees. In the afternoon, the temperature increased by 10 degrees. Then in the evening, it decreased by 8 degrees. What integer represents the temperature change? As we know from before, integers are whole numbers. If the word integer is a new word for you, no need to fear. We have some videos on my channel, but it's just a whole number, nothing crazy. Now, it's very similar to the other question. It's just phrased differently. So the temperature was 85 degrees. That means we're going to be starting at 85 degrees. In the afternoon, as it usually does, the temperature increased by 10. This is a positive action, so we are going to add 10 to this. This brings me to 95 degrees. That is a warm afternoon. Then, in the evening, it decreased by 8 degrees. Well, decreasing is a negative action. So now we're going to be at 95, but we are decreasing by 8. This leads us to 87 degrees. So what integer represents the temperature change? You may be thinking, Mrs. B, this is easy. It's 87 because that's the temperature at the end of the evening. However, that's not the question. It's asking about the change that happened. Well, from start to finish, only 2-degree difference. So the integer that represents the temperature change is actually 2. And this brings us to our last example here. We have Jack, and he is making some money. He made $600 mowing lawns on a hot Saturday morning. But he had to rent the lawnmower for $100 and had to buy the lawnmower's gas for $30. How much money did Jack make after all expenses were paid? Well, he made $600. So we're going to start here at $600. But he had to rent the lawnmower for $100. So this $100 is something he's spending. So this is actually going to decrease our amount by 100. And 600 minus 100 is 500. So that is going to bring us all the way to $500. Now, that was not the only expense. He also had to pay for the lawnmower's gas for $30. So this is another expense that he is spending. If we have 500 and we are subtracting $30, this is going to leave us at $470. So now we're going to be here and we go all the way to $470. And those were his two expenses for the day. So this is how much money he made after all expenses were paid. Before we go, I have a couple questions for you as sort of a reflection. My first question is, what is an integer? Integers are whole numbers, their opposites, and zero. And last question is, what is the absolute value of a number? The absolute value of a number is the distance from zero, so it is always positive since distance cannot be negative. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If there are any videos that you would like to see, please leave a comment and let me know. I'm a new channel, so I would love to know what you need to see, and then we'll make it happen. Well, thanks for watching Math is for Me with Mrs. B, where we conquer math anxiety. Until next time.